Hello everyone, my name is Zain Shaheen. I'm a veterinarian and I manage dog population management projects at the Princess Alia Foundation in Jordan. I'm happy to be joining the third International Conference on Dog Population Management and I'm looking forward to learning from your experiences. So the goal of my presentation is to describe in some detail the challenges we encountered during the implementation of DPM projects in Jordan and the impact on human communities and health. So just to give you an overview on stray dog control in Jordan, there have been significant steps in preventing and stopping the previous inhumane and ineffective approaches legally. The most important one is that the killing of these animals has been banned totally by the Ministry of Local Administration. The CNVR program is the only official approach which is approved to manage stray dogs. So the CNVR program has been applied through several municipalities, including the Greater Amman municipality in the capital Amman. However, some municipalities needed support, mainly on building their capacities to be able to implement the program. Therefore, we decided to start the pilot project to build the capacity of 3 municipalities to control stray dog populations in their areas. So the goal of the pilot project was to build the capacity of municipalities in order to ensure the sustainability of the DPM project, including the CNVR. In the next slide, there's a short video that was created as part of the educational material that was developed during the implementation of the project. It was mainly to raise the awareness of people and the government. So I'll be turning off my camera so you can watch the translation. Enjoy it.
تواجه المناطق الريفية المأهولة والقرى في الأردن واحدة من أكثر المشاكل شيوعاً في العالم، الانتشار المتزايد للكلاب في الشوارع بين الأحياء السكنية والمزارع والمسالخ، والتي تأتي بحثاً إما عن الطعام والماء أو عن المأوى والأمان. تم اللجوء لعدة أساليب غير إنسانية للسيطرة على تكاثر الكلاب، مثل التسميم والقنص، والتي نهى ديننا الحنيف عنها، والتي أثبتت عدم فعاليتها.
ومظاهر الرفق بالحيوان كثيرة ومتعددة، ومن أبرزها أن نحافظ عليها وأن نقدم لها ما يجب تقديمه لها من طعام وشراب ومأوى.
تعز ظاهرة انتشار الكلاب في الأردن إلى أسباب متعلقة ببعض الممارسات الخاطئة، وأهمها عدم التخلص من النفايات العضوية المنزلية بالشكل الصحيح، والتي بدورها تشكل مصدر طعام يجذب الكلاب إلى المناطق المأهولة بالسكان. عدم التخلص الصحيح من جيف حيوانات المزارع النافقة كالأبقار والمواشي والدواجن، والتي بدورها تشكل مصدر طعام يجذب الكلاب، كما وتشكل بيئة ملائمة لانتقال وانتشار الأمراض. مكبات النفايات القريبة من المناطق المأهولة، والتي تشكل مكرهة صحية وبيئة مناسبة لتكاثر الكلاب المتزايد. وحسب المشاهدات والتقارير، فقد ثبت أن التصرفات الخاطئة التي يقوم بها البعض، مثل ضرب الكلاب وتعذيبها أو التعدي على جرائها، هو السبب الرئيسي لأغلب حالات العطر.
الأبقار النافقة كل وين يكبوه أكثر شيء في المناطق الصحراوية ما بين الخالدية والظليل والحلبات، مما جعل الكلاب تتجمع وتكثر أكثر وأكثر.
هناك عدة حلول لهذه المشكلة، وأهمها التخلص السليم من النفايات العضوية المنزلية وجيف الأبقار، الابتعاد عن الكلاب الضالة وعدم التعدي عليها وعلى جرائها، السيطرة على تكاثر الكلاب، حيث جاء المشروع الريادي لبناء قدرات البلديات للسيطرة على تكاثر الكلاب، والذي يهدف بشكل أساسي إلى تقليل أعدادها بطريقة علمية ورحيمة، بدلاً من الطرق غير الإنسانية الشائعة والتي أثبتت عدم فعاليتها. يقوم برنامج السيطرة على تكاثر الكلاب الضالة على عملية إمساك الكلاب وترقيمها باستخدام بطاقة مرقمة على أذن الكلب، وتعقيمها عن طريق إزالة أعضاء التكاثر وإعطائها المطاعيم اللازمة للحد من احتمالية انتقال الأمراض إلى الإنسان أو الحيوانات الأخرى، ومن ثم إعادة الكلاب إلى مكان تواجدها الأصلي لممارسة دورها البيئي بشكل طبيعي.
سفيدين بالليل بيحرسوا إذا يجي حرام ولا يجي كلب ولا يجي شيء بيضروا عليه بيطردوه.
تم تطبيق هذا البرنامج في عدة دول، والذي أدى إلى السيطرة على أعداد الكلاب في المنطقة بشكل كبير وعلى المدى البعيد. قد يشكل اختفاء الكلاب من البيئة المحيطة بنا مشكلة حقيقية تكمن باقتراب وتكاثر الحيوانات الضارية كالذئاب والضباع والقوارض كالجرذان والفئران والأفاعي، ومن دخول كلاب من مناطق أخرى، والتي يجب علينا الابتعاد عن جميع هذه الحيوانات وإبلاغ الجهات المختصة في حال ظهورها داخل أو في محيط المنزل وعدم قتلها، وذلك للمحافظة على التوازن البيئي في المنطقة.
هذيك اليوم السلق هذا حية كانت هنا قدام البيت، والله هو اللي وراني اياها.
تعد ظاهرة انتشار الكلاب مشكلة أساسية تؤثر على تماسك المجتمعات المحلية. حلها يكمن في نشر الوعي لاتباع التصرفات الصحيحة التي تحد من انتشار الكلاب، بالإضافة إلى تطبيق برنامج السيطرة على تكاثر الكلاب الضالة في الأردن، وهذا يتطلب شراكة حقيقية وتكاتف جهود جميع المؤسسات المعنية وأفراد المجتمعات المحلية. ولا تكون النتيجة لهذه الحلول فورية، بل تحتاج لوقت طويل وعزم لتحقيقها على مستوى المجتمع حتى تثبت فعاليتها. لنعمل معا يدا بيد ونحافظ على بيئة صحية وأردن آمن.
So in the pilot project, we worked on reviewing relevant legislation, implementing CNVR program, and educating members of the local communities. I'll briefly talk you through each one so I can point out the associated challenges. So firstly, reviewing legislation relating to animal welfare and solid waste management. We were able to identify one of the main contributing factors to the increased number of stray and feral dogs. It was mainly the inappropriate disposal of solid waste and farm animal carcasses. The challenging part to fix this was the absence of appropriate legislation and enforcement involving the management of farm animals and the inappropriate disposal of their carcasses. Not only this is contributing to the increased dog populations, but it's also contributing largely towards disease transfer, and it's a major health and economic problem. I'm not encouraging starving dogs for sure. Perhaps just find a healthier way to feed them and prevent related conflicts and public health issues. So the second achievement was the starting of the CNVR program. So after we did the review, or in parallel actually, we started the building of the CNVR clinic, and we started the CNVR procedures. So in 2021, we worked only for 3 months. It was mainly to build the capacity of vets and dog catchers. So we could sterilize only 158 dogs, because it was kind of like a training period. In 2022, the number increased, yet it was still low, reaching only 793. So this table here shows the number of sterilized dogs per month and the gender ratio. The two main challenges that caused the low numbers were firstly the availability of skilled and committed veterinarians in Jordan. So in our clinic, we only had one vet working at the clinic with no assistants whatsoever. Secondly, if you kindly look at column 5, namely Al-Hallabat, you'll notice the number of caught dogs. It was mostly 0 throughout the year. So the lack of commitment on the part of the government to the proper appropriation of the CNVR program has been a great hindrance. Luckily, it was 1 municipality out of 3. So we all know that stray dog counts precede CNVR projects, and this is for many reasons. But this wasn't something that we could do before starting our program. However, we were able to start counting dogs in November and December in 2022. It was a year and a half after starting the CNVR program. So this table here shows the selected routes and the number of dogs in Al Khalidiyya. It's one of the areas we worked in. I won't go over it the whole thing. I'd just like to look at route 1. So we counted 73 dogs over 2 days. And from the database we had at the clinic, we caught and sterilized 70 dogs from this route. But we couldn't see any tagged dogs during counting, which was kind of strange. Like, I know numbers are not accurate and 73 is not the total number of dogs, but we couldn't see even one dog with a tag. So the challenges that were associated with dog counts were the sampling design. The design we did was very simple and kind of random. We had foggy weather conditions. We noticed some observers' errors, or although we only had 2 observers, like to count dogs throughout the period. We believe also dog dynamics played a major role in that. The loss of ear tags. But sadly, there was one that we couldn't avoid, which was the inconsistent dog release by one of the municipalities. So they were just moving and placing dogs in rubbish tips and not really releasing them back to where they were caught. So it was challenging to get them to commit to the standard CNVR procedures that actually make it efficient and successful. So the last and most important activity, in my opinion, was raising the awareness and the education of local communities and governments. So there have been several reports on dog bites and disease transfer causing serious human-dog conflicts. There were also misconceptions as to what is CNVR, why release dogs back around our houses, why aren't we seeing results, is it really efficient, why don't you just take dogs and put them in shelters? So there were multiple questions that we needed to answer. And it was challenging during our project to show people how efficient CNVR is due to a combination of reasons. I mentioned some earlier in my presentation. But for example, the lack of vets really caused low number of sterilized dogs. So people didn't actually see tagged dogs around their neighbors. So we couldn't reach the efficient percentage and people didn't see results. So they were like, it was a negative perception for them. So generally, it was challenging to get their support, public support and governmental support. And in order to overcome this, we conducted focus group sessions, workshops for youth groups and governmental leaders. We created 3 educational videos, 5 posters and 1 coloring book and distributed them in Jordan. Material covered topics relevant to stray dogs generally, CNVR, waste management, animal welfare, dog bites, the main topics that are causing human-dog conflicts. So here I've covered the main challenges. There are still some minor ones that include logistics, resources, and finances. So in terms of logistics, the main challenge was the absence of vet positions in most municipalities. Luckily, some municipalities could actually open vet positions to run CNVR clinics successfully. Most municipalities lack the annual budgets to run CNVR programs. Again, luckily, some were able to allocate budgets for that. I think finances are the next challenge when the system and plans are already there. So we trust that CNVR program is only part of a stray animal control project. It comes like with adopting best living practices in terms of, waste management, knowing how to coexist with dogs. Like even with CNVR, we're not going to live without dogs. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope that I've clarified the challenges we encountered during the implementation of my project. Thank you very much for listening.